my today's agenda is sensor on cloud, right? Sensor on cloud. In last class we have already covered cloud computing, types of cloud computing. Then I think now you are able to understood the basic difference between fog and edge computing. And in today's class I will cover this sensor on cloud. Many researchers and academicians have given some idea about the sensor on cloud, but somehow as a BTech students or you MTech students, you have some confusion regarding the sensor on cloud. Some person thought if you will sense the data through the sensor and upload on the cloud is known as sensor on cloud. No. In my view, sensor on cloud concept is somehow differ than sense the data and upload to the cloud. So how these sensor network are different than the sensor on cloud, I will explain in the two way today. First through theoretical analysis, and after this class in second part I will explain the experimental analysis, how you are able to understand the experimental difference, the real difference between the sensor data sent to the cloud or sensor on cloud, right? So now I will explain the basic concept related to this. So let us assume that the sensor deployed in your university, Simata Western University, in electronics department, and let us assume that the sensor is S1, S2, S3, S4 and S5. Maybe possible this S1 sensor is similar in nature with the S4 and S2 sensor may be the similar to S5 or maybe different. So we know that in each sensor there are 3 units, right? 3 units. So first is the sensing unit. Second one is the processing unit, right? And third one is the communications unit. Right? So any sensor first sense the data, then process the data, then communicate. So the question is communicate from whom? So these sensors should be communicate with some device, the external device. So in this here is the basic difference in WSN and IoT difference. If these sensors in out of 5, one will be behaves as a cluster head, right? All are communicating to each other, and one sensor left, so all are communicating to each other. So on the basis of, let us assume that the battery lifetime, they will select S2 is the cluster head. Then this cluster head will aggregate the data from the different sensors and send to the directly gateway, right? And gateway will process further, right? So that is the concept related with the wireless sensor network. But as far as IoT concerned, this concept is totally different. How to see? So now, yes, all the sensors have the same nature, sensing phenomena, then process, then communicate, right? But in the sensor on cloud, the basic concept is virtualizations, right? Always remember this, virtualizations. So virtualizations what? Virtualizations of sensor, right? So what is the benefit of this virtualizations of the sensor? So these sensor are the physical sensor. This sensor is known as physical sensor, right? They actually sense the data and send the data to for the process, right? And communications. So in the sensor and cloud, the lower layer, so physical sensor will deploy, no doubt, yes, again the same as a WSN network. But after this, let us assume that this area is behave like this. Let us assume that hilly area, okay, and one sensor deployed here, one type of sensor is deployed here, one type of sensor is here. So one types here, one types here, one types here, maybe more than this, right? Right? So different type of hilly area is there, upper part, middle part, lower part. So this type of sensor deployment is known as location based sensor, right? But think, everyone will be communicate, everyone will be process, and every sensor will be sense. Then it's very difficult because the battery lifetime, complexity, energy efficiency will decrease. So in the sensor and cloud, there are two parts. One is the sensing unit parts and second part is user interface, right? So currently I am dealing with the sensor unit parts, right? So these sensors will located with the different units basically communicate with this sensor behaves as a virtual sensor, right? So no doubt this is known as VS, right? And they can communicate point to point, point to multi-point, or single point to point communication. Maybe they will also communicate. So which virtual sensor can communicate? Which type of communications? Point to point and point to multi-point, right? So this type of communication can be possible by the virtual sensor. Now, after this point to point and point to multi-point communications, these sensors observe that there are some groups of behaviors. The sensors produce some group behaviors. That means some sensors produce the temperature, some sensors produce moisture, some sensors produce heart decisions, right? Disease decisions. So these virtual sensors may be communicated by or denote or framed as virtual sensor group, right? If these sensors are communicated point to point and point to multiple point, right? After these virtual sensor decides the output is dependent. Dependent means more than one sensor behavior is the same. So in that case, the sensors can be grouped as a virtual sensor group, right? Now, these virtual sensor group are able to how they communicate, how they can process in cloud computing or in IoT. First, see here. First, now this part is from the sensor unit part, right? Now, the second part is the user interface part. User interface part. So in user interface part, what you will observe? So let us assume that the temperature is 30 degrees Celsius currently. So you just, as a user, you will just open the page, web page, let us say down that aquaweather.com, right? Let us say that you can, as a user, you will open the page aquaweather.com. So there you have different notifications. Today is the 12th May, so maybe 15th May is the projection of rain. Currently temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. Humidity is like this, right? So as a user interface, there is no relation with this, right? There is no relation with, as a expert, you are knowing how the sensor sends the data and upload the data on this web browser. This is known as web browser, right? So user interface, how the user interface will be possible? How this will be uploaded here? So these data or different data will come on the cloud. Cloud will be interfaced with this web browser, right? Here is the DNS register is Aquaweather, and on the Aquaweather you will just log in and see, or without login also you can see the details at the different locations. Let us assume that location, how this location will be. This is Delhi, this is Jammu, this is Katra, this is maybe Surat, right? So different locations, different type of sensor has deployed. They will communicate here to the virtual sensor. Virtual sensor may be grouped with the same type of nature, virtual sensor group, and they will send the data or upload the data on the cloud, right? And after this, all the DNS will be basically interfaced with the cloud, and as a user you will log in or down the in your phone, apps are available. That apps will be shown the actual daily temperature, right? So this is the theoretical concept incorporated with the virtual sensor to virtual sensor group, and then the user interface. In the next part of this class, I will explain how you can enable your data and upload the data on the cloud, and cloud will be interfaced with your web browser, right? So hopefully in this first part you are able to differentiate. So what are the differentiations in the wireless sensor network? This group, virtualization of the sensor group is not possible, and every unit are only communicate to each other and send the data and give the cluster head, and cluster head will communicate with the gateway, and that's it, right? So your WSN network lifetime is very low, and not as far as energy efficiency concerned is not so substantial as compared to this wireless sensor network. And so what is the conclusion? Energy efficient, better quality of service delivery, and at the same time in the practical class I will show how the this virtual sensor will be registered in the web browser, how they can create the account. After the setting the data, they will remove the queue and ready for the next round, right? At the same time I will give the real example, your human behavior tracking. Second one, this virtual sensor group will not ping always. In a sensor network they will ping always, but here there is no requirement of always, because they will set the threshold value, right? So if the threshold value change, then only they will demand to the localization group, right? Otherwise there is no requirement of the every time they will upload the data, right? So in next class I will explain again A to Z phenomena is for the practical implementations, right? So this is the conclusion. Energy efficient cloud on sensor is the sensor on cloud is the, as compared to sensor network, more energy efficient, more quality of service, better quality of service and quality of experience, will be appeared, and as far as the complexity also, it is the less complexity, and battery lifetimes. The most important is battery lifetime. Battery lifetime is enhanced or increased a lot as compared to wireless sensor network. Hopefully, you have some concept about the sensor on cloud. So yes, send the data, process the data, and communicate the data to the cloud. But middle of them, virtualization concept is there. Virtualization sensor and virtualization sensor group, right? And all these are depends on the locations. So students, hopefully you understood the difference between wireless sensor network and wireless sensor on cloud. And next class I will continue with the practical implementations. Thank you.